Hi, we're back in the shed, or it's actually a old barn, but actually it's just used as a shed, so let's call it a shed. But anyway, this is the main heating system in my sailboat. It's a Eber special D1L, so it's an old system. It's an electronic heater system, so it's just the combustion chamber is just cooled by the air that goes through this plastic housing. It goes out on the other end of this unit, and from there it goes into the heating system of the boat and is carried out to different cabins. So it's a small unit. I guess it's okay. When I got the boat, it was just sitting in a boat with no glow plug in it. And if there is no glow plug, I'm not sure if it's gonna even attempt to start. So I just ordered a new one. I got it in mail a few days later, and on my way home I just popped into the boat and hooked it up and tried to start the unit just to see if everything worked. The system tried to start up and it ran for about 10 minutes, but it was not really building any heat, or so I'm not sure if it worked properly. So then it stopped, and it didn't want to start again because then it had a fault in the system. So what I did, I took it out of the boat and brought it over here to the island. So now I'm gonna check out if there is a new glow plug, but I didn't change the mesh, which is sitting around the glow plug, or the heating element of the glow plug. This mesh is what the diesel fuel seeps into when it's delivered from the fuel pump. It just seeps into this mesh that's all around the heating element of the glow plug, and when the glow plug is hot enough, the fuel ignites, and then you have this air fan. It's also on the other end of this shaft, inside of the combustion chamber, is another fan, and that sucks air into this air intake and blows air into the combustion chamber. When this happens, you get a strong flame in a controlled environment for combustion, and you get the exhaust coming out of this port. So I don't know how long this has been sitting in a boat with no glow plug and when it was used the last time. I have no idea. So I just tried to start it. It didn't start, but everything seems to work. The fan is a little bit noisy, but that should not be a problem. One has been running for a while. If it's not if it's still making too much noise, I will replace the fan, I guess. But just for the sake of a test, it should be fine. So now I'm going to take the glow plug out, and I'm going to have a look at the mesh that's around the glow plug, because the most common fault on these units is that the mesh is overheated and it melts. That especially happens if you have many short starting periods. You start it and it doesn't get to run till it's all cleaned out or burned clean again. So if the glow plug is working a lot, heat can be transferred into the mesh directly, and it could melt the net a little bit, or the mesh a little bit. So that's the most common fault, I think, as long as the glow plug is working. So when this was sitting in the boat, I had no chance to look inside to see if it was okay, and I don't have the tool to put a new. If you buy a new mesh, it comes with a tool to fit it into the heater, and I don't have this tool. so I couldn't take it out. So I'm just gonna have a look at it if it looks okay. If that's the case, I suspect it is old fuel and stuff in the fuel pump which prevented it from delivering the right amount of fuel, and then I will have to trigger the fuel pump and pump some fuel through it and see if it cleans out. So this is the two possible causes that I expect to be the problem. But first of all, I'm just going to check if the mesh is okay, or if I have to order a new part, because if I have to order a part, that's going to take a while. So I'm just taking the glow plug out of the heater again to check, because now I can put some light into it and I can see what's what inside. This is the setup. There's two wires, a bit crusty. I have to fix the wires, I guess. One is the positive and one is the negative, and there is a washer, a fiber washer, some sort of fiber which is non-conductive, sits between the wires and separates the two circuits so the current doesn't short out. We take off this nut, which is the thing that holds all the wires and stuff in this place. There's a small washer. There's the first wire, and then there is a, dropped it. It's not easy when you have to hold the camera. So this wire, no, this washer I mean, fits on like this, and this bigger washer lies on top of it, and is the backing plate for the positive wire and transfers the pressure onto the rest of this system. Then you have this a fiber disc, or whatever we should call it. As you can see, the connector, or the connector point, just rises a bit over this electric connector. So this hole in this disc fits onto that one. So when this this washer, the big one, sits on top, it makes sure that this connection doesn't slide off like this, because then you would short out the circuit. So it's really important to make sure when you assemble it that the wire is stuck onto the negative base, or let's call it the negative base. I don't know which one is positive or negative. That doesn't really matter. So it sits like this. To disconnect or to dismantle the glow plug is a 19mm spanner. You just undo it like so. You can turn it out by hand. This is what the glow plug looks like. See, it has been trying to start. Put that aside, and we're gonna look inside. And for that, we're gonna need some light. It looks very clean and rather healthy. It's not, it doesn't look like it's melted in any way, so there's a bit of debris inside, but that could come from the sudden change in condition from sitting still for many years to trying to start. So I'll try to get this stuff out. At least I got it inside. That doesn't really matter. So, looks to be in okay condition, I guess. So, let's leave it there. And we will have a look at the fuel system or the fuel pump when we get back to the boat. So, I'm gonna put the glow plug back inside. I'm gonna head over to the boat and we will have a new start attempt. So, and then before I do that, I'm gonna try to force the pump to pump some fuel through the system. So, hopefully you can see. So I take this positive lead. This is a hot wire, it's no fuse or anything. Keep that on one of the tabs or one of the connection points, and I just flick the other one. If I have good connection, like so. I try to do it a bit faster, and the fuel starts to drip out of the end of the hose and down into the funnel. And I guess this is not very interesting to watch, so I'm not gonna film it because I'm probably gonna sit there for a better part of an hour or something. Luckily I came with a lot of patience. So, yeah. If I switch and use the negative on the other connection terminal and flick it with the positive on the other one, it pumps just the same. So it's independent, it doesn't need a positive or negative lead and a special point. It's just, it needs a positive and a negative lead, and you can connect the terminal that you like. So I guess it's a solenoid with a middle position that's permanent, and the way you send current to the solenoid depends on which way it runs, and a spring returns it to the middle point when the current lets go, and therefore it can pump both ways. Either it jumps in one direction and get pulled back, or it jumps in the other direction and get pulled back. So yeah, that's great. Was a bit uncertain of that in the beginning, but I just pumped with the wires in one orientation first, and fuel started coming out, and I started to try the other way, and it was still pumping. So it's the only explanation that I've got. So I'm gonna keep on doing this, and then we're gonna hook up the heater and try to start it and see if it works. And if it works, I can take off all the wiring and stuff, because it's going to be relocated in a different area of the boat. So in this area I have to mount a new diesel filter, and also I want I think it's stupid to have a combustion running right above your diesel tank. So I want to move the heater unit into the engine compartment, because I will also, in the winter time, if it's too cold, I can start it and it will heat up the engine compartment a little bit as well. So so I don't have stuff freezing down in the engine compartment, because the salt water intake or the raw water intake and stuff could freeze up. Freshwater cooling system is obviously frost protected, but The raw water from the ocean is not, so that will freeze up if it gets cold enough. So yeah, this is what I'm doing right now, and I'm gonna look at the result of the fuel that drains into the canister in a while. Well, I managed to start the Eber spreadsheet, and it fired up quite immediately, but at the same time the exhaust hose broke down by the outlet, down by the water line almost. So it's about 15-20 centimeters above, but anyway, so came some smoke and stuff, and tried to put the pots back together while it was firing up, trying to hold some cloth around it, but it was just creating a lot of smoke, so it was a bit hectic, so I didn't manage to film it, but I'm gonna have a restart now, just stuff the pots together. I'm gonna see if it fires up again, and then perhaps we will be able to let it run for a while. But if the exhaust pipe is falling apart again, I have to stop it. So yeah, I have to buy some new exhaust pipe then, but I would have to do that anyway because I'm gonna move the unit, so that's no problem really. So yeah, we'll have a go. Knob is hiding behind the VHF, so like now it should start up. And here is the part where everything came apart. You can see some smoke coming out there now. So we will see if it starts up. You can hear the pump is starting to make a ticking noise, and it's building a flame. Now this unit has been burning for about 20 minutes, and it's delivering a good amount of heat, and there's not much smoke left, so call that a success. As you can see, there is absolutely no smoke. So then we have at least one thing that went well today. Yeah, I hooked up one of the heating hoses to the unit as well, and this is in the cabin down below, and it's really hot. It's almost like it's hurting my fingers when I'm getting this close to it, so it delivers a good amount of heat.